Welcome to Event Explorer, the podcast that takes you inside the world's most incredible events. I'm your host, Daniel Roth, and today we're exploring one of Los Angeles' longest-running traditions, the Golden Dragon Parade. For 126 years, this parade has been a cornerstone of Chinatown in LA, bringing generations together in a vibrant celebration of culture and community. Few events have this kind of longevity, and even fewer continue to evolve while staying true to their roots. Joining me today is Mamie Hong Weinberg from the Chinese Chamber of Commerce of Los Angeles. Her ties to the parade run deep, growing up in Chinatown, performing in it as a dancer, and now helping to keep this tradition alive. We'll dive into the history of the parade, its role in the Chinese-American community, and how it continues to be a center point for cultural expression. If you're in LA, don't miss the 126th annual Golden Dragon Parade on March 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. along North Broadway in Chinatown. And before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to Event Explorer on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss a look inside the world's most unforgettable events. Now, let's get into the conversation. Los Angeles' Chinatown is home to one of the longest-running cultural celebrations in the country, the Golden Dragon Parade. Now in its 126th year, this event brings together over 100,000 spectators to celebrate Chinese heritage through dance, music, and tradition. Today, I am joined by Mamie Hong Weinberg, a lifelong resident of Chinatown, a dedicated community leader. She's played a key role in preserving and evolving Chinatown's cultural traditions, and she's here to share her insights on the history, the impact, and the future of the Golden Dragon Parade. Mamie, welcome to Event Explorer.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. Yes, really great to connect with you and to tell this story about such a strong culture in such a unique and vibrant city. Los Angeles is such a melting pot. There's such strong representation from so many different countries that come and really make up the fabric of the city. You couldn't say it's majority one anything. It's everybody's working together.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this city.
And you grew up in Chinatown. I saw a little bit about the Hong Kong Club, and so you've been culturally involved. Can you tell me what it was like for you growing up in that area of the city and what the kind of culture was as you experienced it? I know it's a big question.
Well, yeah, it is. Chinatown is so cool to grow up in. It was like the best way I could describe growing up here is like you're in a small town in a big city. So everyone knows each other pretty much. But then yet you have the, let's say, bigness of LA. You have diversity all around you. Even in Chinatown, we have a big Latin community living up all in Chinatown. And so, it was great. It was really fun. And one of the unique things too, people have pointed out to me that I didn't think it was so unique, but that a lot of people pointed out to me. Those of us that went to school together in our local elementary school, Castelar, we have remained friends and been in touch all up until adulthood. And I think that is from, again, the growing up in a small town and the big city thing. Honestly, I never thought anything about that, but it's been pointed out to me time and time again how unique and wonderful that is, that we all remain in contact with each other.
So this is the strong connection of these Angelenos that grew up in the small town in LA. So there's obviously a big mix of what we call Angelino or American tradition and Chinese culture that's pervaded, the parade being one of them. How did that kind of make its way into your daily life growing up? And what was that kind of experience like where you got to celebrate a unique culture?
Oh, gosh. Here, it's like a dual life almost, right? It's like the daytime you're at school doing your regular activities. You're doing you're such American things like playing sports, basketball, cheerleading, drill team, all that. And then you come home and you're speaking Chinese to your family, eating Chinese food, and here in Chinatown, of course, we're surrounded by all these wonderful Chinese restaurants as well. And a lot of kids had to go to, and I emphasize that, had to go to Chinese school after regular school. So it was just like a blending of our two cultures, being American and Chinese.
And then growing up, I mentioned I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it a little bit. This idea of how this kind of connection was created. Well, your parents at the restaurant that they owned. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your experience growing up in that, and kind of what was so special about the Hong Kong Club?
Well, okay, so my father and his family had a restaurant called Hong Kong Lo. It's in the central plaza of Chinatown, the main part of Chinatown. It was there forever, since like I think like the 50s, 40s, 50s, and then my dad started managing it back in like, I believe like the 50s and 60s. So anyways, after a period of time of being like just hosting mainly like tourists and Chinese families that would come in and do their wedding banquets and all, business started to slow down at nighttime, especially, well, the economy and all that. But we needed revenue for the upstairs nighttime banquet area and a dining area. It so happened in 79, the punk culture was big. And so across the way was a restaurant called Man Wong's. And they started hosting bands and stuff. But there, the owner of that restaurant preferred more like new wave, a little more, let's say, gentler music, so to speak. And so the punk bands needed a place to showcase their music. And so promoter approached my father and my dad, who was like, he was very open to new ideas and like try things. He said, sure, you can use the restaurant upstairs for your venue. So they named it the Hong Kong Cafe. So the Hong Kong Cafe was pretty well known from 79 to 81. It didn't last that long. Just I think a new genre of music kind of started coming in, but it was hot and heavy during those few years. And so all the punk bands migrated over to the Hong Kong Cafe to play, and we had some crazy nights there. I actually was working during that time at the restaurant, and it was just crazy. The clientele that came in, oh, they're always very nice, very polite, but the clientele that came in their very unusual garb, with that was when you'd see all the crazy hairdos with the different colors and this crazy mohawks and stuff. It was just really something else. And I was working as the cashier and hostess. And let me tell you, when the music started, my station, the ceiling on the top would be like shaking. So, like, most times I would just move to the front of the restaurant just in case something happened, like, collapsed on me or something. But it was just an amazing time. There's nothing like that again. Yeah.
Yeah, what a cool thing to be a
There's
part
actually
of.
some documentaries out on it.
I can link them in the show here because I watched one that was on PBS, and it's just such a cool story how accepting I feel like that your father was and your family was of what was a culture on the edge, a culture that was developing. They didn't have that many homes. They weren't welcome everywhere. And
No.
your family provided that kind of place that these people could express themselves and comfortably,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
rare. And look at what it's built. The punk scene is alive and continues today, and is a big means of self-expression for people of all backgrounds.
Yeah. We had
So
some great bands. We had the Bags, the Years.
amazing, amazing. I'm a Detroiter, so we've got a similar kind of rock and roll heritage. So that kind of brings me to the subject of performance and presentation and involvement, your kind of artistic involvement in the community. You started a dance troupe, I read early on. Have you always been interested in the arts because of this, do you think?
Absolutely. I think influence from my mother who was interested. And so as kids, we at the local rec center, Alpine Recreation Center here in Chinatown, we started dancing there. And Jan Landrum, the director at the time, was so supportive of us kids, and just like whatever types of dance we were interested. She wanted to expose us to all kinds of dance. And so, of course, our big love, besides ballet, was the Chinese dance naturally. So we just kind of evolved into that. And between my sisters and I and some neighbors, we decided, at that time, there were maybe very few, or maybe very extremely few, Chinese dance groups in LA. So we decided, we were teens. I think I was in like middle school, high school, and we decided to just form our own. And it'd be easy. We just practice here at home because it's just my sisters and neighbors and cousin, I think. And also at the rec center, they were so fully supportive. And we did, of course, most of our shows at the rec center. And then we started getting calls to perform all over the city, and it evolved. We really evolved. Our costumes evolved too. The first costumes were crazy. We made them ourselves. They were kind of falling apart as we were dancing, and then we had our aunts. As I got older, more experience, and knew where to purchase fabric, and I learned to design the costumes. We had an aunt who was an amazing seamstress, whip everything up, and then we really started looking more professional. And so we were performing all over the city. Now there's dance groups like there's so many in the greater Los Angeles area now, because of the immigration from Taiwan and China. They have professional dancers have immigrated here and started many wonderful dance groups. But at the time, we filled a void.
And were you involved in the Golden Dragon Parade with your dance groups as well?
Uh-huh. Because my father was in the Chinese Chamber of Commerce for all as long as I could remember, growing up. So until he retired, because he was involved, he involved us. So whatever he needed, we would do. You need more people to march in the parade? Oh yeah, my daughters can help do that. You need somebody to ride and float. Okay, my daughters can help ride on the float, and their friends. So yes, and also in elementary school, because again, I went to school here in Chinatown at Castellar, and so our school would also participate. The parade used to be at nighttime. It was so cool. It was a whole different vibe. So I remember the first parade I've ever participated in. I must have been like 7 years old, and through the school, they had a bunch of us kids line up, and we were holding these colorful lanterns that lit up. And I still remember how it felt. It was like a chilly night, and we were all bundled up in our Chinese cultural garb, and holding those lanterns, and then we marched proudly in the parade, and it was really a lot of fun. That was my first one, and many other ones subsequently.
And that's definitely recent history for the parade. 126 years since you've been
Yes.
involved with it. Are there even records and some kind of tokens from even its earliest days that you've seen?
I am sure the Chinese Historical Society has probably records of that.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's a point of
that's
pride, I'm sure, that it's been going so long.
oh, absolutely. And I've been told that, actually by the LAPD, that we are pretty much the largest parade in LA right now.
Very cool, very cool. Now that we're looking at this year's parade, and we had been talking during the recent fires, and that it was the smart choice and the respectful choice to postpone it. Obviously, wasn't the time for a parade, but you were getting everything ready, and it was almost set to go. I'd love to hear a little bit about how the parade gets going every year. What are the inner workings that you're a part of in order to get this group organized and to make it happen? Imagine it's a whole year in planning.
Yeah, it is, but it got very condensed this year because we started work on it a little later than past years, but we got it together, and it's a lot of work. It's a it takes huge teamwork. And we have a committee, and we have everybody sort of specializes in things. We have Scarlett Yen, who reaches out and does all the technical aspects, like the permit pulling and all that. There's a lot that she has to do. And then we also have on our team Shannon Fong. She's doing the lineup coordination, and she has to send the packets out to all our participants. And then and the day of, she's going to be nuts, because she's going to have to, her and Scarlett are going to be nuts coordinating everything. My job is contacting all the nonprofits and all the local groups, all the high schools, and any schools that we feel would want to participate, whether they have a marching band or they just want to bring the kids and just participate in any way, So, um, and then also we have politicians coming and a few celebrities. So we have a VIP reception to host them before the parade starts. And coordinating all the cars, it's a lot, it really is. But I'm really proud of the team that we have. The Chamber of Commerce, the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, has been, so of course, supportive in any way. The president, the secretary, Joanne Young, Winston Young, they're like, they're wonderful. And it's like they never sleep. They they help us with everything, They let us do our thing, but they are so supportive in every way. And it wouldn't be possible without all this help. It's many hands.
Amazing, amazing. It sounds like a very passionate team, and a team that cares for the event and sees the legacy of it, wanting to continue it. So the things that make up the parade, I've seen images from this of the different floats, the different dance troupes. Tell me a little bit about what attendees will see this year at the parade.
We have such a diverse amount of groups that you'll be seeing. Well, first of course, probably the favorites, the crowd favorites are probably the lion dancers. Um, the lion dancers, and then you'll see dragon dancers as well. And then you'll have the beauty queens, our Miss Chinatown and her court was just chosen this past weekend. Lovely, smart, powerful young ladies to lead our community. And you'll see little kids from our local elementary schools. Our where the theme this year is bringing it back to communities. So we were trying to get as many community groups march. For the first time ever, the Alpine Recreation Center will be participating. After a long hiatus, Castler Elementary School is coming back as well. We have many community groups marching. We'll have colorful dancers. We also have to integrate another culture. As I said, there's Latin, Hispanic people living in Chinatown as well. We are going to have a group of these adorable salsa dancers that participated last year, from like little kids to teens. They're really good, very professional, but very colorful. They're super good dancers. And like I said, you'll have your celebrities in their cars waving, and then our local politicians as well. It's going to be really nice. Yeah. And, I forgot to mention also our chairman, Chester Chong. He has pulled together and helped us get a lot of coordinating our politicians, and also, our grand marshals this year. The grand marshal this year is John Suhu. He's the official Dodger photographer. And also his grandfather was the founder of our current Chinatown. And so he has history. Yes, he has history. Um, his family goes way back. So that's why it was important to highlight him as our Grand Marshal. And our honorary marshals this year are the Honorable Police Chief James McDonald, and then also actor Keon Young, and firefighter Chin Yu. He was a firefighter that he was at work battling the the Altadena fire, and his own home was being burned to the ground. Yeah, so we just wanted to bring him out to honor him as well as a Chinese American firefighter doing so much for the community. But
And that's the central word, right?
yes,
Community
community.
is such a strong word,
Exactly.
and
Mhm.
even just to you being so tied to Chinatown and the local community, what does the parade mean to you? And what does it mean to A, just attend it, and then B, now you're such a big part of it? What does that mean to you?
I'm telling you. So besides, I think if I wasn't in the parade, we watched like every parade, like from me being what I mentioned to you when I was a little kid marching in it, then like in middle school being in our local drill team, and then my dad putting us on those floats when they needed help. Now these recent years, with my as my children were growing up, since they were born, my husband, and then my whole family would come in. The ones that don't live here in Chinatown, they would all come in. We have our spot on a certain part of the street every year. It's our ritual. We watch the parade, and it's like a tradition for us. For my family, our tradition is we watch the parade, and then we go have our Lunar New Year, our Chinese New Year dinner afterwards at one of our local restaurants. So that was something we did. We integrated into our family tradition every single year. And but this year we kind of have to change it up a little bit since I'm working and helping. So we already had our dinner. So
Well, you're a
but they
very
will still
strong
be coming,
proponent.
and they will be coming still to watch it, and I recruited them to be volunteers as well.
What do
They'll
you
be
hope
here no matter
for?
what.
You were a girl and watching this parade, and it was such a big influence on you. What influence would you like? What kind of a message would you like younger generations to take from it?
That's really a good question, because that is something the chamber really thought about in planning this parade. They want young kids. We want young kids in the audience when they're viewing this parade to be inspired. They see a Chinese American mayor or a Chinese American firefighter. We want them to be so inspired when they're watching this particular parade, taking in all these people that are in these diverse jobs and thinking, you know what, I can do this too. I can do this in the future. So we're hoping that it'll inspire young people that are watching, young kids that are watching in the audience.
I think it's an amazing tradition. It has a great run that I don't think is going to stop anytime soon. I
Oh
think
no,
that
not
there
at all.
such a strong community, and this is just such a great way to show the impact of that community and the beautiful expression of it through dance, costume, art, food, like you're saying. I love that the city is such a huge proponent of it, that the mayor is helping, that police chief is helping, that they see the value of it. And it's such just it is the fabric of Los Angeles, and it is what makes Los Angeles such a special place, such a unique one. I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story today. I encourage everyone, March 22nd, right? This year.
Yes, and I also wanted to add, we there is a festival in the Central Plaza that follows the parade that will have martial art demonstrations and line dance by our local Chinatown East Wind Foundation for Youth. They're a wonderful lion dance group, and their martial arts demonstration is fantastic too. So they'll be performing after the parade. They're in the parade. They're the finale in our parade every single year. And they'll be performing in the Central Plaza along with other performers. And we'll have like a little night market going on there too. So it's going to be a lot of fun all day, all night.
Awesome. So it extends. It's a party, and it truly is the celebration that the Lunar New Year is
Mhm.
meant to be.
Yes.
It's especially how meaningful this year with the tragic fires in Los Angeles,
Yes.
and
It's
having to
horrible.
experience
Yes.
that. We need a little bit of release. We need a little
Mhm.
bit of reminding of what's so special about this place. And you and the team are helping to bring it. So it's really wonderful to hear the story. I encourage everyone to go out, see the parade, hang
Come
out at
see
the
the
festival.
parade. At the end of the parade, there will be like a huge firecracker demonstration as well. So nothing like it in the whole city. And I think everyone will enjoy it. So please come out.
And if you can't, I think it's being streamed as well. And it's on
Yes,
cast
it'll be
on
streamed on
oh, nice.
ABC. Yes, live streamed on ABC. So March 22nd starts at 1 o'clock. Um, Come early, get a spot, enjoy like all the restaurants and all that Chinatown has to offer. I think everyone will enjoy it. We usually have a pretty good turnout, and I'm also praying for no rain that day. But so far, I think so far so good.
I think you'll be good. I think your prayers will be answered, and it'll be a great
I hope
day.
so.
Congratulations on carrying on the tradition, and for it being such a strong part of your life is just such a remarkable story. So thank you for sharing it.
Thank you, Daniel.
Take care. A big thank you to Mamie Hong Weinberg for being with us today. A tradition that lasts over a century doesn't happen by accident. It takes dedication, community, and a deep commitment to keeping history alive. The Golden Dragon Parade continues to be a gathering place for American Chinese culture, to finding identity and making connection. And it's amazing to see how it's evolved while staying true to its roots. If you're in Los Angeles, be sure to experience the 126th annual Golden Dragon Parade on March 22nd for yourself. And if you can't make it in person, you can watch it live wherever you stream ABC7 Los Angeles. If you enjoy discovering the stories behind iconic events, make sure to subscribe to Event Explorer and leave a review. It helps more people find these conversations. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Daniel Roth, and until next time, happy exploring.